Hey, so you're thinking about buying a home, you're in the right place. We're going to talk about the very first and maybe most important step to unlocking your real home buying power, getting pre-qualified for a mortgage. Because it all starts with this one giant question, right? You see all these amazing houses online, but what can you actually afford? It feels like this huge, stressful mystery, but I promise we're going to clear it all up today.
And here's our game plan, our roadmap to getting you confident. First, what even is pre-qualification? Then we'll tackle the whole pre-qualification versus pre-approval confusion. We'll get into the big benefits, walk through the super simple 5-step process, and wrap up with some pro tips to help you boost that final number. Sound good? Let's dive in.
So first things first, what is pre-qualification? Seriously, don't think of this as homework or some boring financial chore. This is it. This is the official starting pistol for your home buying journey. Okay, so in simple terms, pre-qualification is basically a lender's best guess, an initial estimate of what you could borrow. You tell them what you make, what you owe, what you've got saved up, and based on that, they give you a ballpark number. It's not set in stone, but it's the number you need to get started. All right, now let's clear up something that trips up everybody. Pre-qualification, pre-approval, they sound the same, people use them interchangeably, but trust me, they are two very, very different things. So what's the real deal? Look, here's the easiest way to think about it. Pre-qualification is based on what you say your finances are. It's a quick, informal conversation. Pre-approval, though, that's when you prove it. The lender actually verifies your income, your assets, everything. So a pre-qualification is like a handshake, but a pre-approval is a much more serious, we're ready to do business kind of deal. It's a much stronger signal you can actually get the loan.
So you might be thinking, well, if it's just an estimate, why even bother? Oh, because this step is your secret weapon. Seriously, getting pre-qualified early puts you in the driver's seat and gives you a massive advantage. First off, the biggest benefit, you get a realistic budget. You can stop dreaming about million-dollar mansions if your budget is half that. And that means you can narrow your search and only look at homes that are actually in your price range. It's also a great way to spot any little financial issues early on, so you have time to fix them. And maybe most importantly, it shows sellers you mean business. You're not just a looky-loo, you're a serious buyer. And this is exactly why it's so powerful. When you're ready to make an offer, attaching that pre-qualification letter is huge. It tells the seller, hey, I've already talked to a bank and they think I can afford this. In a hot market where sellers might get multiple offers, yours is way more likely to stand out. Okay, you're convinced. You see the benefits. So, how do you actually do it? Well, the great news is that it's surprisingly simple. We can break it down into just 5 easy steps. I mean, look how straightforward this is. You pull together some basic info about your money, you find a lender you like, or a few of them, you fill out a pretty simple form, usually online, you'll have a quick chat about your options, and then boom, you get your pre-qualification letter. That's it. Totally doable. Oh, and here's a really, really important point for anyone who gets nervous about their credit. Pre-qualification usually only requires a soft credit check. That is not the same as a hard inquiry. A soft check does not, I repeat, does not hurt your credit score. So you can breathe easy. There's literally no risk to taking this step. And once you get that magic letter, just keep this number in your back pocket. Most pre-qualifications are good for about 60 to 90 days. If your house hunt takes a little longer, no big deal. You just get it updated with your lender. All right, let's get to the fun part. Let's say you get your pre-qualification number and it's a little lower than you hoped. Don't panic. You are not stuck. There are absolutely things you can do to boost that number and increase your buying power. Tip number 1, and it's a big one, work on that credit score. Why? Because a higher score tells lenders you're less of a risk, which often means they'll offer you a lower interest rate, and a lower rate means your monthly payment is smaller so you can afford a larger loan overall. Next up, knock down your existing debt. Lenders look at something called your debt-to-income ratio. The less you owe on credit cards, car loans, or student loans, the more room you have in your budget for a mortgage payment. It's that simple. Tip number 3 is to beef up your down payment. Now, this is a little different. It won't raise the amount a bank will lend you, but it lowers the amount you need to borrow. So if you can put more cash down, a more expensive home suddenly becomes affordable. And finally, the most direct path, increase your income.
Whether it's a raise, a side hustle, whatever, more income is the clearest signal you can send to a lender that you can handle a bigger mortgage.
So, if you remember one thing today, let it be this. Getting pre-qualified is not some scary test you have to pass. It's not a hurdle. It's the starting line. It's the move that transforms you from someone who's just looking into a serious, confident homebuyer with a plan and a real advantage.
And that really just leaves one final, super exciting question for you. Once you have that number in your hand, once you know your real budget, what kind of home are you going to go find? Thanks for joining me and happy house hunting.